So, hello everybody. My name is Shan McGill, also known as Psychic in the City. So, welcome to this little, what shall we call it here? This little webinar about getting guidance from your spirit guide. Now, I have run a webinar not so long ago about connecting with your spirit guide, and I am going to use a few of the notes from it for those that have attended or have already watched. That's okay. And just so you all know that this is being recorded and people have registered to just get the recording rather than watching live. But everybody that's supposed to be on is meant to be on, and that's just the way that it goes. I'm a very firm believer in that. So for those that don't know me, I am an international TV psychic medium. I'm also extremely humble every time I say that. And I have worked internationally and been a guest medium on a TV show in other countries, pretty much. So that is pretty much what I do. For those that don't know me, I love to teach and I love to demonstrate. Those are my two favorite parts of my work. Let me see if that clears it up a little bit. Those are the two most favorite parts of my work. I love to talk. I love to chat. I love to share knowledge with other people, and I love to help people increase their knowledge base. And I work with many students from all over the place in various different aspects of their own metaphysical abilities and help them really sort of tap into their own spiritual potential. And I love to see that with people. So that is kind of what I do. I do love to run free wee webinars just to talk to people, just to pass a wee hour and share on some knowledge. Now, like I said, this is being recorded, so if you do feel more comfortable turning your camera off, you absolutely go ahead and switch your camera off. I will not shout at you, and I will not bring anybody on camera that does not want to be on. So that is just for the sake of the recording, obviously, so it is out there. Now, tonight's little webinar, hopefully we're going to run for about an hour. Sometimes I really overestimate the time or I underestimate the time. Usually if I underestimate and we're still on about 3 hours later. But hey ho, it is what it is, and I promise I won't have you all on 3 hours tonight. So what we are going to be looking at tonight is spirit guides. Now, we won't be looking at them with our eyes, but we will be looking at them with the notes that I have prepared from previous webinars. And then we will begin to wrap up with going on this sort of little guided journey, almost like a meditation, but not quite, more of an exercise. I do like to say that there is a bit of a difference between a meditation and a working meditation. So I do like to see them as one being an exercise and the other being, you know, something where we can just get all calm and relaxed and beautiful and relaxed with it, you know. But it will take on whatever form that it does take on. So for those people that are new or new to Zoom, familiarize yourself with Zoom. Get used to the wee buttons. There's a chat box. There's all that type of lovely stuff there. Feel free to put any questions that you may have into the chat box. But don't be asking a million questions just to begin with, because I might answer your question as we go along. So I am going to get my little notes up here. So this is what you had all seen once I came on. This is Psychic in the City. That's my brand I've been going under for about 5 or 6 years now. Isn't that scary? It really is. And I've already sort of explained who I am and what I do. So tonight we are going to be looking at sort of how do we go to get knowledge from our spirit team, to get guidance from our spirit team. Let me see. Hopefully no mad calls tonight. You're looking well in the background. Sweet t-shirt there, but thank you. I will take all the compliments going. So do forgive me if I ignore the chat box for just a little bit. I will get to it for any questions or anything. So we're going to be connecting with our spirit team in order to help get guidance from them. So some of the things that we're going to be looking at is, what exactly is a spirit guide? What are they, and what are they here to help with? Any blocks that we may have in connecting with our spirit team, and we're doing a guided meditation, not strictly to meet them, but to get guidance from them. Like I said, these are notes from a previous webinar, which go hand in hand. It's just named differently, and it will be different information that I'll be given for those that attended the previous one. So let's get cracking here. You're going to have to forgive the noise maybe that's coming outside as well. I live in a lovely little neighborhood, and all their kids are at the age where they want to be playing in the street. So I'm hoping that the microphone very much helps remedy that situation. So what is a spirit guide? So a spirit guide is a highly evolved spiritual being that is assigned to us before birth. So if we can look at it in such a way that a spirit guide is someone that we've made that soul contract with before we come and live this life, that we have mapped out the lessons, the trials, and the tribulations, and also the blessings within this physical experience. Our spirit guide is the one that is agreed to help us on our spiritual journey. Now, our guides are not family. Let me make that very, very clear. Our guides are not our spirit family. Our spirit family may want to guide us from the spirit world, but they are not strictly a spirit guide. And they're here to help us along our life path. So, whenever we think of guides, or I'm sure you have maybe been to like, a development group or a workshop or heard a medium talk about their guide being like a Native American or a Tibetan monk or something like that. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that that spirit guide, that was their last life. But us as humans and how our mind works is we need to put things into categories. We need to put things into boxes. So normally whenever we meet spirit guides, they may come forward as a Native American or as someone from Atlantis or, that Tibetan monk that I spoke about. And that's just so as us as people, while we're working with them, we can get comfortable with them having a personality rather than being just a being of light. So, what I mean by highly evolved spiritual being. Now, someone did mention on one of my Facebook lives, oh, you're talking about a spiritual hierarchy. Are you? And I was like, no, I'm not, because my guy just did not like that at all. But I understand that terminology. But a hierarchy, as my guide said to me, implies a attitude of better than. So that is not where spirit comes across. What they just mean is they have lived more lives and have ascended a bit higher into the spirit world, into the spirit vibrations, than just us Joe Blogs maybe have. So they've learned more lessons than us. They've maybe experienced more things than us. Does not mean that they're any better than us, though. But now their role is not to have a human experience anymore, but it's to be the role of a guide or one of our spirit team. So if I could get you just to visualize, just imagine, now this isn't the meditation, but just imagine a beautiful big hotel. And we'll go into the lobby and it's all bright and open and it's beautiful and it's the ground floor. That is where we go when we go to the spirit world. Now, the spirit world is not a hotel, but just for the sake of trying to understand it. So then we have the ground floor. That's where we go. That's where mum, dad, granny, granda, all those people in our lives. That's where they all go. Because we're just all normal people and we live, normal lives. We're not extremely bad people. We mightn't be, little holy Joes, proper saints. So that's where we go. We maybe incorporate that little level. And then we'll go up to the first floor. And the first floor would be the saints, would be the likes of, the Mother Teresa's, the people that made that massive impact on the world. They would go to a slightly higher place than us. Doesn't make it any better, doesn't make it us any worse. And then above that, you would get things like, ascended masters, such as the Buddha, Christ, Mother Mary, and so on. And then there would be guides that would be in and around that vibration also. So it turns out we only need 3 stories in our big massive hotel. But as we go above that and above that, there's more sort of light beings and different things that maybe we're not aware of, and that's a whole different course. And then at the very top, we'll have God, or whatever you class as the creator. Now, angels are not our guides. Angels are angels, guides are guides. Guides have been human. They have lived the human experience. For angels, they have not done that, apart from the 2 documented cases, which is Metatron and Sandalphon. So again, we're going to use our incredible mind, our incredible imagination, and we're going to visualize a map of the world. Just a map, not a globe, a big map in front of you. And we're going to see Ireland. So if we look at Ireland as being the spirit world, and then we have England next to that, that is the angelic kingdom. So they're kind of in the same place, but they're kind of different. And again, I'm not getting political. I'm not saying there's any difference between people that live in Ireland and people that live in England. So nobody please start. That is not the purpose of this. Um, so once we have those two different places, then we can say, okay, so all the humans, all the spirits all go here. And then right beside us, we have all the angels in the angelic kingdom. And because they're right beside each other, well, the angels can hop in and say hello because they're on a very close vibration to us. They're only a 20-minute flight away. Obviously, I'm joking with the 20-minute flight. So there is definite differences between spirit and angels. But for the moment and for what I'm talking about is I'm talking about spirit guides. So I hope you are all following. I'm good at giving little descriptions, little analogies, or at least so I'm told anyway. Maybe people are just humoring me for this. So we're gaining more of an understanding now about what a spirit guide is. And if I could move on to the next slide. What can they help with? You have to ask your guide for help because, yes, okay, so we have agreed to come here to live this life and to have certain experiences, but we have our God given free will, and sometimes we can go way, way, way off the path, and that's okay. We have free will, we're still going to experience other things anyway. So our guides can help us with getting us back in direction. They can help us with big situations in our life. They can help bring us healing and comfort and guidance. Your guides don't care about what diet you take. Your guides don't care about what clothes you choose to wear. They're not here to do things like that. Guides are not here to be worshipped. I like to refer to mine as my spirit team rather than guides because that to me sort of goes, I'm lost and I need help. When I might be lost and I might need help, but we're all a team at the end of the day. And the most important thing that you need to do is you need to learn to ask your guide for help. And they will answer you through your psychic senses, through your intuitive faculty, which is something that I'm happy to chat about a little bit later. Your guides are there to help give you guidance and direction. Now, there is various different ways that you can learn to connect with your guide, but the most important thing is to enhance your intuition because that is how they speak to us. That is how the flow of spirit works. It comes from spirit to the subconscious to the logical through the use of our psychic faculties, aka the clairs. And I don't mean your Aunt Claire, I mean clairvoyance, clairaudience, and so on. So we have to learn to ask our spirit team for help. And they will 100% be there to whisper that guidance to you, to give you that advice. Or if you're anything like the big guy that works for me, he comes in shouting and hits me a wallop in the head. But that is just it. So blocks that can help us or that can prevent us from connecting with our guides and receiving that information. Now, one of the main books that I recommend to everybody is Brian's Guide to Working with Spirit. And if you just hold on to the end of this webinar, I have a special announcement to make that kind of involves that, but kind of doesn't. Now, some of the things that block us is fear, it's ego, it's lack of self-worth, and anger. So these are the things that will prevent us from working through our higher mental faculties, through that part of our subconscious mind to get that information, whether it be intuitively or from our guides. So fear is a very common feeling that can block us from our guides. We have a fear of not being good enough. We have a fear of getting it wrong. We have a fear of not being able to do it. And fear in most of those cases comes from a lack of awareness, from a lack of understanding, from not having a very big knowledge base. There is also that little part of us that it's kind of like, I'm not worthy. I don't know if this is correct for me. Because I have seen this time and time again as being someone that is a spiritual mentor. And also, I've been through it myself as well. I hear it time and time again from my students, from my clients, that Yes, they're really skilled oracle readers, tarot readers, aura readers, you name it, they can do it for anybody else in the class. But whenever it comes to themselves, they just don't know how to do it. And that's where the fear comes in. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. What if I get it wrong? And again, how we can quickly eliminate all these fears is to increase our knowledge base, to begin to definitely increase and enhance our intuition so that we can get this information from our own soul, from our higher self, and from those that guide us from the spiritual vibrations. So I hope you are all following along because all I can see is myself and my slides. Now, ego. Ego is one of the things that spirit hate. Ego is a word that I hate being used within the spiritual community because people point and go ego, ego, ego. But if we understand exactly what the ego is that part of the mind that controls our body's automatic responses, such as breathing. It is the one that tells our heart to pump. It's the one that means that we don't have to get up and take a step and think about every muscle contraction and relaxing. Our ego is actually something that we need to embrace and to learn to work towards or work with in harmony with our soul. Because somewhere along the line, we give our ego permission to run wild to protect us, which is what the ego's job is. Now, what I'm talking about now is I mean egotism, where it's someone that thinks I, me. That is what spirit does not like. Now, obviously, you can say, yes, I am a medium. Yes, I am clairvoyant. Absolutely. But if you start saying things like, aren't I amazing? When you know full well that it is a team effort, you need to learn to replace the I with me, or not me, we. Because once you do that, you're acknowledging those guides that work with you. You're acknowledging that God source, that higher self, whatever it is, you're acknowledging that and influencing your intuition to help guide and direct you. And it kind of comes from that attitude of gratitude that the more you're grateful for it, the more you acknowledge it, the more you're going to receive it. And there's nothing wrong with having a bit of an ego. You need to have a bit of an ego. Like myself, for example, I need to have a bit of an ego to know that I can stand in a room full of 120 people and deliver messages from spirit. Because if my ego wasn't there, I'd be out the door and away. Now, my ego is the part that I know that I can do this. My egotistical part, and again, I'm just using this as an example, would be I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm going to do this, I don't need to meditate anymore, I'm fantastic, I give accurate messages. That's egotism, and we don't need that. We need spirit works me so well. These spirit communicators work with me with ease. My guides give me clear and concise and accurate messages. Now, lack of self worth, which is something I want to throttle a lot of people about, but it's your journey and you do what you need to do. That I can't do it. I'm not smart enough. Only special people can do it. Special people. Okay, so let me start breaking these down to the people that have that little bit of that lack of self worth. So I can't do it. You cannot communicate with your guides. Why not? So if we are all collectively understanding that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, if I can talk to a physical human while I'm having a physical experience as a spiritual being, why can I not connect with what I truly am? It only stands that yes, I am able to connect with the spiritual being because I am a spiritual being. This is not me. I am not a body. I just live in a body. So there's that one gone. I'm not smart enough. Okay, fair dues. What way are we looking at this from? Are we looking at this from an academic point of view? Because I can assure you now that deep down within every fiber of your being, of your soul, that your soul is intelligent, that you have the information of how it works for you within you. Now, that does not mean that you need to step aside from proper mentoring, proper training, reading books, taking webinars, because increasing your knowledge base is only going to increase your confidence and your understanding in what you're doing. So, boom, that's that one out of the way too. Only special people can do it. Well, what if I was to tell you that we're all special? We have all been created in God's likeness and own image. And I hate quoting the Bible because, it's very off-putting when people do it to me. But it is a thing. We're all part of one family. We are all special people. And everybody's abilities is going to be very different from the next. And this is a thing that I say time and time again to people that I mentor. Your mediumship is unique to you. Your connection with your guide is unique to you. Your intuitive ability is unique to you. Not everybody is going to do what I do. Secondly, nobody else can do what I can do because I'm me. And that doesn't mean I'm the best because there's people that I rank much higher above me, and I'm man enough to say it. But our relationship with our guides is unique to us. Do not compare, do not think any more than or any less than, because it's all totally unique. We are all special in our own way. And just because you develop a relationship with your guide and you begin to enhance your intuition, does not mean that you have to do one-to-one readings. So take all that pressure off. You could use your intuition solely in your day-to-day life, and there is not one thing that is wrong with that. Now, let's move on to the next one. Anger. Oh my God, how many of us on this webinar tonight have felt a lot of anger towards somebody or something or a situation? Anger is the lowest vibration for them to get through. Anger at the world, anger at people and situations. And I'll tell you a little story. When I left my husband a few years ago, I was in a pretty bad place. Obviously, my marriage had broke down, and I'll not get into all the details. You can wait until I write my book. But I was so angry. I was angry at myself. I was angry at him. I was angry at the situation, and I could not work for a good number of months after that. And I know I have a few friends that are on, and Paul will probably back me up on this, that I could not work my standard of work for months because I was so angry. And I had to stop doing readings because anger is such a low vibration that it encompasses hatred, hurt, low self esteem, lack of self worth. It encompasses everything. So not only is that putting up one wall, it's putting up one hell of a thick wall that they just can't seem to get through. So that is something we need to learn to work with as well, is our own feelings and our own emotions. And trust me, whenever you begin the journey of enhancing and connecting with your guides, everything seems different. We get less angry. We understand situations a little bit more because we can detach from them. And when we detach from them, we're being present in the moment and we allow for it to speak with us. So that is pretty much it. No, I'm only joking, we're not done. I'm going to stop the little share here so I can see all your lovely faces to those people that are watching. And there we go, we have a few people. Now this is a little part where if you have any questions, I am happy to answer them. So go ahead and fire them into the little chat box just while I speak about different techniques and things to help you learn to connect with your guide. So let me see here. We've a couple of wee people on. That's awesome. That's cool. I love these webinars. They're so much fun to do. Now, whenever we are learning to work with our spirit team, they work through our psychic faculties, our psychic senses. And what I mean by that is they work through our clairvoyance, our clairaudience, our clairsentient ability, they work through the senses and they will give us information in certain ways. It's not always going to be, okay, yeah, how are you? You know, because it takes a wee while to get up to that. But they will show you images, they will give you feelings, they will give you certain sort of awarenesses of things, just maybe just a wee knowing. But it's a journey of development, it's a journey of enhancement that you need to go through first of all in order to get that strong connection. And type of this type of a journey, I don't want to say work because it's not work, but this type of a journey is very much an ongoing process. And any psychic, any medium, any intuitive will tell you that they spend time developing. They have spent time um, in learning. They have spent time making mistakes so that they could figure out the difference between their logical, conscious mind and their subconscious mind. Because our subconscious mind, if we look at it in such a way, is the home of our imagination. And that is where our higher mental faculties are. Our imagination and our intuition, they're housed within our subconscious mind. Now, I'm not saying that spirit is your imagination. They utilize your imagination, that higher mental faculty, through memories, through images, through so many different things. Um, and that is how they work with you. So you need to learn to enhance your intuition. You need to learn to enhance the side of your physical senses, the flip side to the intuitive senses, so that we can begin to get clearer messages, clearer guidance, and clearer direction from them. And it is a journey that we go on. And you know, I'm very grateful that I still go through it. I still study, I still learn, and my guides still have new ways to work with me, and I still find different ways to listen to my intuition. Let me see. I know you've touched on this, but I still struggle understanding how to trust intuition. Do they send signs as well? Absolutely. Spirit can send us signs in many, many different ways, just what I spoke about. But one of the main things that I find that will really help you trust in what you're doing is putting in the practical work. You know, it's all well and good. If I could wave a wee wand and make everybody on this call tonight intuitive and hear their guides so clearly and precisely, God, I would be charging a lot of money for that. But unfortunately, it does not work that way. So this comes through, like I've said, increasing your knowledge base first of all, because when you increase your knowledge base, you're going to become more confident in what you're doing because you have a better understanding of what it is that you're doing. Now, one of the easiest ways to sort of do things in the beginning stages is through guided meditation, where you will go and connect with that guide and ask for guidance. But you need to learn about your psychic senses. First of all, you need to learn how to intuitively just pick up information about yourself. And Spirit will 100% work with you along the way. But don't forget, we don't always have to be run to Spirit for answers as well. Because I know that a lot of people are like, oh, my mum's my guide, and na na na. And I hope my mum's not on watching before I start speaking about her. Um, you know, I wouldn't really run to my mum while I'm alive asking for advice because sometimes she wouldn't give me the best of advice, really. And or she might give me advice that I disagree with. Does not mean that's going to be any different when she's in spirit. She is not all seeing, she is not all knowing, because she is just in at that lobby that I spoke about in that spirit hotel when we first started. So we don't always need to go running to spirit. And sometimes they don't want to answer either, which is fine. We got to deal with that. Like if I was to pick any one of you guys tonight and ask you what you got up to last night, you're well within your rights to say to me, Sean, I'm not telling you. And spirit's exactly the same way as well, because there is intelligence in the spirit world. And at the same time, they do not want to impact upon your free will. So sometimes we have to use our own intuition in connecting with our higher sense, our higher self, using our senses to intuitively feel things that may happen or may come along? But that was a good question. Sent me off in a different direction as they always do. So if anyone else has any more questions, feel free to ask away. Okay. Mm, cool, cool, cool. So I am going to take you on a little guided exercise. So I need you all to sit comfortably or lie comfortably. If anyone's holding their phone in front of them, set your phone down just for the purpose of this. I am going to put a little bit of music on YouTube. Here's hoping no ads come up. So if you all want to just sit nice and comfortably and just begin by closing your eyes. So we'll wait until a few people are running to get their receipts there. But those that are sitting comfortably, just close your eyes and just begin to relax. And just really focus on the rhythm of the breath. As we take a deep breath in through the nose and just breathe out through the mouth. And once more, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And we're going to breathe in through the nose once more and breathe out through your mouth. And this is a very important exercise as it begins to bring into balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain, of the mind, the logical and the creative. And as you're just focusing upon the rhythm of the breath, I want you to feel that beautiful, relaxing energy as it moves through your entire body. Just feeling calm and relaxed. Just feeling warm and relaxed as you listen to the sound of my voice. Any sounds outside of the room just blend into the background as the breath takes you deeper and deeper as you relax more and more. Breathing in and breathing out, just following the rhythm of the breath. And I want you to visualize yourself surrounded in a ball of beautiful, bright, white light that has little flashes of pink throughout it. And this light is your protection. It's a very powerful force. And as you feel your feet on the floor and that connection to Mother Earth, you know that you're grounded and centered. All the time, just breathing in and breathing out. Just relaxing more and more. And now we're going to go on a beautiful journey. We're going to go to a beautiful garden. And this garden is a meeting place between here and the spiritual vibration. I want you to see this garden and know that it's enclosed in. There's beautiful trees and plants and the most brightly colored flowers. As you walk around this garden, you feel the beautiful grass under your feet. You feel the sun on your skin, seeing bright reds and blues and greens, the yellows and the orange colors. As you hear some birds and the sounds of nature as a breeze just rustles through the trees. And in the center of this garden, there's a large crystal bench. And I want you to go and sit upon this bench, taking note of what type of crystal that it is, and just feeling the energy of this crystal bench just revitalize and recharge your body. And as you sit on this crystal bench, there's a large screen begins to form in front of you, kind of like a television screen. And you can feel a familiar presence with you, as you know that this is your guide. But we're not focusing too much on who they are. If you see them, that is great. But just know that they are there. And in this large TV screen in front of you, I want you to ask your guide to give you some guidance that you deeply require. And you may see words or images begin to form upon this screen. It may play out like a movie, or you might just get a feeling of what you need to do. And as your guide just shows you to the use of your intuitive senses, you just trust the first thing that comes to your mind. And as you thank your guide for giving you this guidance, you see this TV screen just begin to fade away. And as you're in this beautiful spirit garden, once again you thank your guide, knowing that you can return at any time. I want you to take a nice, deep, grounding breath into the body as you bring your awareness back into the room. Just feeling your feet upon the floor, the chair that you're sat in, taking a nice, deep, cooling breath in. That's it. Just coming back in your own time as you wiggle your fingers and your toes and just open your eyes. If you have a little stretch, maybe a drink of water. Now, obviously, this has been a bit of a different sort of meditation that I done from the previous Spirit Guide webinar. This was one that is a little expert, a little bit taken from a new course that I've been working on, where my guide was just like, do that on Friday. And I'm like, okay, fair dues. So I followed what he was saying. So it is a very simple exercise to allow you to begin to pick up information from your spirit guide. It's a beautiful wee exercise for those that are maybe developed or not so much developed. Um, just to really calm the mind, relax the body, and allow that inspiration to come. Now, obviously, things like this, it's an ongoing thing. Like I've said, it very much is. You need to practice and practice and practice. And I wouldn't be rushing ahead and making any big decisions like selling your house. If this is your first time doing this, I wouldn't be doing that. I would definitely think with your logical mind, very, very much so. But like I was saying, this is a part that has been taken from my new course. What's it called again? Enhancing Your Intuition, which is a 6-part video course, which I'm super excited about. I've been recording videos and shouting at the neighbors' kids outside when they're making noise at my window. Stop it, I'm trying to record. For people that are interested, I'll maybe send you on the information about that. It's a series of 6 videos plus worksheets that you can work at your own pace at home. They will be sent out over a 6-week basis, where it'll be looking at the senses and the mind. Let me see, I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere here. I think I'd remember I'm very technologically minded these days, aren't I? So let me see. I think I found it in here. Yes, enhancing Your Intuition is a brand new 6-part video series designed to help you in the enhancement of your intuition. There is 6 video lessons plus an additional worksheet and an additional lesson that I haven't told anybody about yet. And those 6 lessons go in a certain order, that is to help you learn to get clear and accurate guidance for yourself and for other people without the use of any tools such as cards or pendulums or anything like that. So the first lesson is the senses and the mind. The second lesson is the psychic senses. The third lesson is how to get those intuitive answers for yourself, how to get and use your intuition for others. Then there is a brief introduction on the aura and how to sense or see the aura, and then how to move on and get more detailed answer or accurate guidance from spirit guides. So it is designed in such a way that you're really going to refine and hone in on your psychic senses, to trust that intuition and guidance that you get for yourself. It is structured in a way that I'm working you through asking certain questions to get that answer for yourself before starting to build on it, which may be the 7th lesson. So you can learn and work away at your own pace and have the videos for reference if it is something that you do want to go for. And I know these are all probably thinking, I don't have the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds to be spending on a 6-part course with yourself, Shan Video. And I have to tell you right now, it is not hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Oh, cannot minimize the meeting. Okay. It is £47 at the moment, and it's only launching a little bit later on. You guys are the first to hear. Brilliant, thank you, Shan. I try to do this every evening when I finally do get silence, but I never seem to be able to do it. Sometimes you need to be guided through, and sometimes you need to learn to sort of fine tune your intuitive senses a little bit more to get more accuracy and more clarity in what is being given to you, So I can see if I can grab that little link here. Where am I? Where's it gone? Yep. For anybody that wants to go and check that out, there is the link right there in the little chat box. I'm super excited about that. It'll be videos that will be sent to you once a week over the course of, it says 6 weeks, but it's actually 7. plus your little practical exercises, which are different from the stuff that we go through in the video. So the videos are a mix of informative, educational, and like an exercise to do, and then you have your stuff that you need to work at. So it's literally like 15 minutes a day, if even that, to be working away at to really help develop your intuitive abilities a bit more, you know. So has anybody any questions they would like to ask? You can put your wee hand up and I can maybe unmute you, or you can fire it into the chat box just before we begin to wrap up. Awesome, no questions then. So that is cool. I always pause and stare at the screen. Get that wee glazed over look in the eyes, don't it? It's all the lights that I have behind me to make sure that I'm looking presentable for you all, you know. So guys, I hope you really did enjoy this evening. It's just a little bit that, you know, whenever Spirit inspire me to do these types of things, then I absolutely go ahead and do them. Now I will be uploading this onto my YouTube, but it will be private. So the email address that you use to register is going to be the email address that I'm going to give access to for the video. So if it's a different email address on your YouTube account, let me know. So that was it. Is it possible to receive a message today? I am not doing readings today. That's not what I'm doing Wednesday. I'm teaching this evening. But you can book an appointment through that link as well if you are looking a one-to-one. Um, you know, or do you mean is it possible to get a message from your guide? If that's what you mean, then yes, absolutely. You know, it would be possible. From your spirit guide, yeah, 100%. It would be 100% possible to get a message from your guide. So yeah, you know, and it's all works in certain ways. You know, it doesn't mean that just because you might be brand new doesn't mean you can't get a message. But you can also, you feel like you did, awesome. You can also try this again, do it again, and see if they confirm the message, or you can ask them to confirm it in another way for you. You know. So yeah, awesome. I hope that you have enjoyed this evening, and I am going to go and make myself some chips because that's always what I do after I teach. So I will fire you out a little email once the wee video is up on YouTube. So feel free to go and check that. And by the way, go and check all the freebies that comes along with signing up for that course for today if you do. So have a good night, guys, and I will see you all very, very soon.